Canberra is the capital city of Australia. Founded following the Federation of the Colonies of Australia as the seat of government for the new nation, it is Australia's largest inland city and the 8th largest Australian city overall. The city is located at the northern end of the Australian Capital Territory at the northern tip of the Australian Alps, the country's highest mountain range. As of June 2022, Canberra's estimated population was 456,692. The area chosen for the capital had been inhabited by Aboriginal Australians for up to 21,000 years, by groups including the Ngunnawal, Ngunnawal and Ngambri. 12 European settlement commenced in the first half of the 19th century, as evidenced by surviving landmarks such as St. John's Anglican Church and Blundell's Cottage. On January 1, 1901, Federation of the Colonies of Australia was achieved. Following a long dispute over whether Sydney or Melbourne should be the national capital, a compromise was reached. The new capital would be built in New South Wales, so long as it was at least 100 miles (160 kilometres) from Sydney. The capital city was founded and formally named as Canberra in 1913. A plan by the American architects Walter Burley Griffin and Marion Mahoney Griffin was selected after an international design contest, and construction commenced in 1913. Unusual among Australian cities, it is an entirely planned city. The Griffin's plan featured geometric motifs and was centered on axes aligned with significant topographical landmarks such as Black Mountain, Mount Ainslie, Capitol Hill, and City Hill. Canberra's mountainous location makes it the only mainland Australian city where snow-capped mountains can be seen in winter, although snow in the city itself is uncommon. As the seat of the Government of Australia, Canberra is home to many important institutions of the federal government, national monuments, and museums. This includes Parliament House, Government House, the High Court building and the headquarters of numerous government agencies. It is the location of many social and cultural institutions of national significance such as the Australian War Memorial, the Australian National University, the Royal Australian Mint, the Australian Institute of Sport, the National Gallery, the National Museum and the National Library. The city is home to many important institutions of the Australian Defence Force including the Royal Military College Duntroon and the Australian Defence Force Academy. It hosts all foreign embassies in Australia as well as regional headquarters of many international organisations, not-for-profit groups, lobbying groups, and professional associations. Canberra has been ranked among the world's best cities to live in and visit. Although the Commonwealth Government remains the largest single employer in Canberra, it is no longer the majority employer. Other major industries have developed in the city, including in healthcare, professional services, education and training, retail, accommodation and food, and construction. Compared to the national averages, the unemployment rate is lower and the average income higher, tertiary education levels are higher, while the population is younger. At the 2016 census, 32% of Canberra's inhabitants were reported as having been born overseas. Canberra's design is influenced by the Garden City movement and incorporates significant areas of natural vegetation. Its design can be viewed from its highest point at the Telstra Tower and the summit of Mount Ainslie. Other notable features include the National Arboretum, born out of the 2003 Canberra bushfires, and Lake Burley Griffin, named for Walter Burley Griffin. Highlights in the annual calendar of cultural events include Floridad, the largest flower festival in the Southern Hemisphere, the Enlighten Festival, Skyfire, the National Multicultural Festival and Summer Nats. Canberra's main sporting venues are Canberra Stadium and Manuka Oval. The city is served with domestic and international flights at Canberra Airport, while interstate train and coach services depart from Canberra Railway Station and the Jolimont Centre respectively. City Interchange is the main hub of Canberra's bus and light rail transport network. Canberra is the federal capital of the Commonwealth of Australia located at the northern end of the Australian Capital Territory, ACT. With a population of approximately 350,000, it is Australia's largest inland city. Canberra began as an entirely purpose-built, Planned city. Following an international contest for the city's design, a design by Chicago architects Walter Burley Griffin and Marion Mahoney Griffin was selected and construction commenced in 1913. The city's design was heavily influenced by the Garden City movement and incorporates significant areas of natural vegetation that have earned Canberra the title Bush Capital. Canberra covers an area of 311.0 square miles, 805.6 square kilometers, and is located near the Brindabella Ranges, approximately 93 miles, 150 kilometers, inland from Australia's east coast. It is located at altitudes that generally range from 550 meters to 700 meters, 1,800 to 2,300 feet. The highest point is Mount Majura at 888 meters, 2,913 feet. Other large hills include Mount Taylor, Mount Ainslie, Mount Mugga Mugga and Black Mountain. The surrounding bushland and the original bushland that Canberra was built in is a mixture of eucalyptus savanna, open grassland, scrubland, swamp and dry eucalyptus forests. The two main tertiary institutions are the Australian National University, ANU, in Acton, and the University of Canberra, UC, in Bruce. The ANU was established as a research university in 1946. It continues to have a strong research focus and is ranked among the best universities in the world in the Times Higher Education Supplement and the Shanghai Jiaotong World University Rankings. Both ANU and UC also have interstate and overseas campuses. There are also two religious university campuses in Canberra. Sinadu in the North Canberra suburb of Watson is a campus of the Australian Catholic University, and St. Mark's Theological College adjacent to the Parliament House is a campus of the secular Charles Stewart University. The Australian Defence Force Academy, ADFA, and the Royal Military College, Duntroon are near the suburb of Campbell in Canberra's inner northeast. Canberra is home to many national monuments and institutions such as the Australian War Memorial, the National Gallery of Australia, the National Portrait Gallery, Australia, currently housed at Old Parliament House, the National Library of Australia, the National Archives of Australia, and the National Museum of Australia. Many Commonwealth government buildings in Canberra are open to the public, including Parliament House, the High Court and the Royal Australian Mint. Lake Burley Griffin is the site of the Captain Cook Memorial and the National Carillon. Other sites of interest include the Australian National Botanic Gardens, the National Zoo and Aquarium, the National Dinosaur Museum and National Science and Technology Centre. In addition to local sporting leagues, Canberra has a number of sporting teams that compete in national and international leagues. The best-known teams are the Canberra Raiders and the Act Brumbies, who play rugby league and rugby union respectively, and who have both been champions of their respective sports. Both teams play their home games at Canberra Stadium, which is Canberra's largest stadium and was used to hold preliminary football, soccer, matches for the 2000 Summer Olympics and matches for the 2003 Rugby World Cup. Canberra also has a successful basketball team, the Canberra Capitals, who won the 2006 and 2007 Women's National Basketball League Championship. There are also teams that participate in national competitions in netball, field hockey, ice hockey, and cricket. Manuka Oval is another large outdoor sporting facility where cricket and Australian rules football, AFL, are played. Several AFL teams have played, or are planning to play some games at Manuka Oval. The historic Prime Minister's 11 cricket match is played at Manuka Oval annually. Canberra also hosts an annual marathon, the City of Canberra Half Ironman Triathlon, and the Canberra Women's Tennis Classic. The Australian Institute of Sport, ACE, is located in the Canberra suburb of Bruce. The ACE is a specialised educational and training institution providing coaching for elite junior and senior athletes in a number of sports. The ACE has been operating since 1981 and has achieved significant success in producing elite athletes, both local and international. It is also a popular tourist destination. Canberra has numerous sporting ovals, golf courses, skate parks, tennis courts and swimming pools that are open to the public. A Canberra-wide series of bicycle paths are available to cyclists for recreational and sporting purposes. Canberra nature parks have a large range of walking paths, horse and mountain bike trails. Water sports like sailing, rowing and water skiing are popular activities on Canberra's lakes. The Rally of Canberra is an annual motor sport event, and a facility for drag racing is currently being planned for construction. Canberra has two large public hospitals, the 500-bed Canberra Hospital, formerly the Woden Valley Hospital, located in Garran, and the smaller Calvary Public Hospital located in Bruce. Both public hospitals are also teaching hospitals. The largest private hospital in Canberra is the John James Memorial Hospital in Deakin. Calvary Private Hospital in Bruce and Healthscope's National Capital Private Hospital in Garran are also major healthcare providers. Canberra's hospitals receive emergency cases from throughout southern New South Wales. The ACT Ambulance Service is one of 4 operational agencies of the ACT Emergency Services Authority. An interstate railway service connects Canberra to Sydney, with rail services to Melbourne provided by way of a bus service connecting with the rail service between Sydney and Melbourne in Yass, New South Wales, about 1 hour's drive from Canberra. Canberra's railway station is in the inner south suburb of Kingston. Between 1920 and 1922 the train line crossed the Molonglo River and ran as far north as the city centre, although the line was closed following major flooding and was never rebuilt. Canberra is about 3 hours by road from Sydney, 7 hours by road from Melbourne, and a 2-hour drive to the ski fields of the Snowy Mountains and the Kosciuszko National Park. Batemans Bay, New South Wales, a popular holiday spot on the New South Wales coast, is also 2 hours away by road. Canberra International Airport provides direct domestic services to Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth, with connections to other smaller domestic centres. No regular commercial international flights operate from the airport. Until 2003 the civilian airport shared runways with Royal Australian Air Forces, RAF, Fairbairn Air Base. However, the Air Force Base was decommissioned and is now under civilian control. The airbase continues to be used for RAF VIP flights only. Canberra is home to many national monuments and institutions such as the Australian War Memorial, the Australian Institute of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Studies, the National Gallery of Australia, the National Portrait Gallery, the National Library, the National Archives, the Australian Academy of Science, the National Film and Sound Archive and the National Museum. Many Commonwealth government buildings in Canberra are open to the public, including Parliament House, the High Court and the Royal Australian Mint. Lake Burley Griffin is the site of the Captain James Cook Memorial and the National Carillon. Other sites of interest include the Australian, American Memorial, Commonwealth Park, Commonwealth Place, the Telstra Tower, the Australian National Botanic Gardens, the National Zoo and Aquarium, the National Dinosaur Museum, and Kays Taken, the National Science and Technology Centre. The Canberra Museum and Gallery in the city is a repository of local history and art, housing a permanent collection and visiting exhibitions. Several historic homes are open to the public: Lanyon and Tuggeranong homesteads in the Tuggeranong Valley, Mugga Mugga in Simonston, and Blundell's Cottage in Parks all display the lifestyle of the early European settlers. Calthorpe's house in Red Hill is a well-preserved example of a 1920s house from Canberra's very early days. Strathnairn Homestead is an historic building which also dates from the 1920s. Canberra has many venues for live music and theatre: the Canberra Theatre and Playhouse, which hosts many major concerts and productions, and Llewellyn Hall, within the Anu School of Music, a world-class concert hall, are two of the most notable. The Street Theatre is a venue with less mainstream offerings. The Albert Hall was the city's first performing arts venue, opened in 1928. It was the original performance venue for theatre groups such as the Canberra Repertory Society. Stonefest was a large annual festival, for some years one of the biggest festivals in Canberra. It was downsized and rebranded as Stone Day in 2012. There are numerous bars and nightclubs which also offer live entertainment, particularly concentrated in the areas of Dixon, Kingston, and the city. Most town centers have facilities for a community theater and a cinema, and they all have a library. Popular cultural events include the National Folk Festival, the Royal Canberra Show, the Summer Nats Car Festival, Enlighten Festival, the National Multicultural Festival in February, and the Celebrate Canberra Festival held over 10 days in March in conjunction with Canberra Day. Canberra maintains sister city relationships with both Nara, Japan, and Beijing, China. Canberra has friendship city relationships with both Dili, East Timor, and Hangzhou, China. City-to-city relationships encourage communities and special interest groups both locally and abroad to engage in a wide range of exchange activities. The Canberra Nara Candle Festival, held annually in spring, is a community celebration of the Canberra-Nara sister city relationship. The festival is held in Canberra Nara Park on the shores of Lake Burley Griffin. The history of Canberra was told in the 1938 radio feature Canberra the Great. Thank you for watching this video.